Hello everyone, this is Critic giving you a shoutcast in a game between Liquid TLO and Socke. Here on Shakuras Plateau, we have Liquid TLO spawning as the purple Terran player here on the top right hand side of the map. Meanwhile, we have Socke spawning as the light blue or the cyan Protoss here on the top left hand side of the map. So this is going to be Terran versus Protoss here on Shakuras Plateau. I am live streaming this as well. If you guys don't know, I have a Justin TV account, so Justin TV, justin.tv/Crota TV, and you will be able to keep a track of when I am casting games live. Hopefully, I will be able to cast more games in the future, especially with the upcoming tournament. This is game 1 in what I expect to be a best of 3 series. I have been proven wrong in the past, though, so we'll see what will be happening. Back over here, we still take a look at TLO, and TLO is just building up the supply depot, and this is a pretty standard build coming in from both of these players. Now, Shakuras Plateau, one of those maps that has very long spawning distances, and this version is the ESL version, but there are no backdoor entries. We are going to be getting a barracks over here on the front door, and normally if it's a barracks on the front door like this, I normally see a double racks opening, so we'll see if we get a refinery up, and it looks like it is going to be a refinery, so TLO not doing for a double racks opening. I would question that move, especially as he is not going against a Zerg player, as the probe now may try to get some harassment onto that SCV, but he wants to take a look around on the inside of the space and see if there is in fact a refinery going up. That probe going to deal, what, three rounds of attack or 2 rounds of attack before pulling off there. And now the probe down to 20 hit points, and now some recharging shields. SCV now coming back and simply passing by there as a Marine now going to be trained. We may get a tech lab and perhaps a tech lab with a Reaper expansion, but this doesn't seem to be the case, as TLO has positioned this barracks in a very strange location, and because of this location, I don't think we're going to be seeing a Reaper expansion anytime soon. Perhaps a supply depot into a factory. That would be what I would normally expect, but no, now lifting off that racks into a different location and now building that tech lab. SCV going up the ramp, and he took a look around and didn't see anything. Wow, TLO making a grave mistake there and not knowing where his opponent has in fact spawned. He's now going to come back up this ramp, take a look around, see that he is in fact not down here, and then go back and make the trek one more time. That is always very painful, as you miss out on critical key scouting information. A probe still sitting on the ramp. A Reaper is being trained. That means a command center is not too far behind. And there you go, a fast expansion attempt already coming in. We now see that SCV trying to walk up that ramp will be able to do so pretty easily, as a Stalker now going to be coming out. And interestingly enough, not chrono boosting the Cybernetics core or the Stalker. The SCV will be able to run away, and it looks like the Stalker, for a second, was almost juked out. But now that Stalker should be able to get off very easy rounds of attack. 2 more shots and it will go down, and there it goes. Wow. There you go. Now Socke actually finishing off that SCV there. We are getting a Reaper now, and that Reaper getting a lot of damage, playing a game of hopscotch up and down. And is the probe going to get the kill? No, the probe does not get the kill. The Reaper down to 8 hit points. 1 shot from a Stalker would be able to finish it. And it looks like this Stalker is the man for the job, or I guess the Protoss for the job, as he makes his way out across the field, and now we'll be trying to charge up that ramp. We do have the concussive shell now being researched, a second Marauder being trained, and that means that that Stalker doesn't stand a chance if he tries to walk up that ramp, but he does want to see if a command center is being lifted off and placed down. A Marine now making the trek down, and we'll see that Stalker there isn't even turning around, so this one Marine will get sacrificed. Down it goes as the Stalkers now make their way up. The Marauders? No, Marauders do not have concussive shell yet, and I believe that was a little bit of a too early aggression by TLO. If TLO had actually waited at the top of the ramp for just a little while longer, he would have been able to get that damage. The concussive shells would have been finished, and he would have an additional dead Stalker just in his queue of losses for Socke. Now we are getting an orbital command lifted off. We'll be landing off over here. Harvester count 24 SCVs with 1 mule versus 29 probes. Pretty even, I would say, at this point in time. Socke also getting a Nexus up and running as well. So this Nexus now getting some probes transferred. And sentries are down here on the low ground as well. If you did not hear, sentries now take a lot less time to build off of a gateway as the Marauders focusing down the Stalkers, and now the Stalkers are coming in, and the Probes now coming in, those Marauders now being forced to fight back against an army of Probes, and wow, the Probes countering those Marauders pretty well. Taking a look at the losses are even at 475 each. Those Probes not attacking very quickly, but in sheer numbers able to destroy those Marauders. I think a Probe attacks at the same rate as a Marauder, so that is the difference between that damage. If a Reaper was perhaps on the low ground, able to shoot up onto the high ground and finish off some of those Probes, that would have helped out tremendously. The Marauders now going to make their way, and it looks like it's going to be a 3 Marauder with Reaper as backup support to try to protect against those Probes. And that early Reaper may even get more and more damage as more Marauders are still being added. I do not see any Immortals yet, just only an Observer. And now Socke is going to have a very difficult time as... Oh, there is one Immortal though, so one Marauder now coming in, and there's the Force Field as the Reaper now coming over as well. The Marauders trying to come over the Sentry, going to get quickly sniped, or sniping quickly that one low hit point Reaper, and the losses higher for Terran, so a 50 resource difference. And now because of those Immortals, those Marauders will in fact just turn around. Mass Marauder play by TLO, as we are now expanding into a 3rd base by TLO. So TLO running off of 3 bases in about another 60 seconds or so. There is an Observer out and a lot of Zealots and Immortals. He may get flanked here, and that may become an issue as the Marauders trying to get some distance. And now the Marauders coming in from the back as well. The Marauders finishing off that Immortal very easily. And now a split Marauder micro, so nicely done. And Socke having a very difficult time now as the Marauders in the main portion of the map are going to be able to finish down multiple Zealots very, very easily. Socke in a bit of trouble as the Marauders now finishing off that Stalker there, and now Socke has definitely more losses. So now at a 900 loss difference, TLO has a very small window of opportunity to try to put his pressure down. We do see 2 Sentries now warping in, more Zealots now warping in as well, to try to balance out this army. And now 8 Marauders, 10 Marauders, many of them with very low hit points, gonna have a very difficult time. There's the Force Field. Zealots now battling it out there, and now in comes the Immortal. The Immortal does have a lot less range, 1 range less, so those Marauders should be able to kite those units very easily army-wise. 1,800 total resources versus 1,600. The benefit of those Sentries just very, very apparent in blocking off this ramp and preventing units from walking up that ramp. So very critical and very key there. As Immortals, a lot of Immortals being used by Socke. Socke now also training 1 Colossus. No extended thermal lance range, but that Colossus will have a 2 full benefits. The first benefit is the splash damage on those tightly packed units. The second is the ability to break down his own force fields if he decides to chase and try to pursue those Marauders. The Marauders, I believe, do they have Stimpak? They finally do have Stimpak, but I still do not see Starport yet. Are we getting some medevacs? I do not see any medevacs yet. There was a reactor in play, but no medevacs as of yet, as that Marauder still moving around back and forth. Socke now coming back in. One poor Marauder trying to fight back a group of Stalkers and using that Stimpak, but unable to escape. We are now getting a larger army back from the Protoss. Taking a look at the Harvester count, 59 with 3 mules. And you can see TLO mining with 3 mules over here. 1 SCV currently sitting idle, not doing very much at all. We are getting some bunkers into play, but only 2 Marauders on the far side, as 1 Observer going to be trying to siege up this location here and trying to just be able to warp in some additional units. 1 Proxy Pylon already in the center of the field just in case the forward pylon gets destroyed. And now, oh, here comes the pylon now, and no units have yet revealed up onto that high ground. If the pylon was actually within range of that bunker, that would actually be a very, very bad thing for TLO, as TLO doesn't have that much defense there. In comes the scanner sweep, and now both sides are battling it out. There's the force fields. Colossi are trying to push in even further. SCVs perhaps need to join in on the fight as well. There you go. The SCVs finally being pulled off. Gonna try to run in as the Stalkers trying to just play a very, very dangerous game. Trying to push in and pull back. The Marauders now turning around once again SCVs unable to get into that front portion there, absorbing a lot of that damage and getting more damage in. 2 Marauders now coming in as well, but the bunkers are now empty, so that is a very, very, very bad proposition. All of TLO's units are in the red, so unless he can actually capitalize on the medevacs and then perhaps deal more damage to those zealots, it is not going to work out well. One dropship also destroyed, and now those Marauders just trying to use that stutter step and get more and more damage, and I believe TLO, yes, has successfully fended off that attack there, and now the proxy pylons are being destroyed. We are getting medevacs trying to be trained up. We need to get more SCVs, 3 SCVs being queued up as well. Not quite sure why mules are being called down in here. There's a lot of mules down over here. That's the reason why. You want to try to call down your mules at your expansions, just because you do not want to deplete your main base at that early. If you deplete your main base early, that means you're going to be forced to try to set up an expansion somewhere else much more quickly. There are still no bunkers here, as the observer of Socke, now looking around, pretty much sees what he doesn't want to see by clicking on the mineral patches, knows that this expansion has been up for quite some time at least. Marines, Marauders now in the center portion of the map. We are getting the armor upgrades in addition to the range upgrade, and that is going to help out Socke continually as well. Socke now running off of a decent number of gateways. Yeah, 5 gateways inside his own base. Also getting the Twilight Council. We'll see if he goes for Blink or Charge first. Zealot leg upgrades always very, very important, as the Zealots are able to keep up with the Stalkers much more easily. And now in comes a possible flank. 1 Stalker now destroyed. There's the force field, but Marauder is now trying to come in and get more damage. Down goes, oh no, there, finally down goes a Colossus there, as a scanner sweep trying to reveal and make sure that the Colossus, where it's in fact going, the Marauder is just going straight after that target there. The Stalker is now getting destroyed, and also another Colossus getting destroyed, and the losses are starting to rack up very, very heavily. Level 1 armor upgrades about to be completed. Another Colossus now being trained up as well, as this Nexus going to get easily destroyed. 3 medevacs, 2 with energy, easily taking down this expansion here. Gonna be able to finish off this pylon and this zealot as the reinforcements are coming in, and unless Socke has a ace up his sleeve in terms of a Twilight Council and maybe a Dark Archon for Melee Storm, I do not see how it would be actually possible for TLO to lose this particular matchup. Now, splitting up the forces by doing an elevator drop up onto the high ground. The Marauders and Marines are backing up, but now putting pressure on the front door as well. So doing a nice split attack there, doing a very good flank. And now Socke, I believe, will have to say GG. That was just a beautiful split army micro, and that was very well played by TLO. So TLO taking game 1 in what I expect to be a best of 3 series. There's the actions per minute, there's the losses. Go ahead, I know some of you guys want to see those actual numbers at the very end. But thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between Socke and Liquid TLO here on Shakuras Plateau.